Good morning, everybody. I am tired. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to get up at 5:30, so here we are. We're gonna just go from 7 to 8:30. Instead of doing my making my Anki down here, I think I might try to make it during that session so I can get an hour and a half back down here, and then I can study some Anki. So it is Thursday, January 26th. So anyway, let me get started so I don't lose all my time. I'm gonna be doing Anki until about 8:30. It's 8:35, so we are a little bit behind schedule. We're supposed to be leaving at 8:30, but we should still be fine. Parking is usually only a problem like on Monday morning. I think today's small group session is on the basal ganglia, which honestly, I mean, we had a lecture on it, but I don't know much about it. To my defense, or in my defense, I haven't actually studied that lecture. Okay, can we just appreciate the sun? Ah! Like, today's not necessarily a full day. It's a disruptive day, you know, to like my daily routine and everything. So we'll see what happens with the day. Also, later, I do want to give you guys just some insight into my thoughts on neuroscience so far, now that I think this is 4 weeks in.
What do you say?
I don't know, whatever you want to say. We're rolling.
Well, what's the
It's
topic?
just a day in the life and how I feel about neuroscience.
Okay, tell me one.
Go.
Neuroscience is
It's not an interview.
a very interesting topic. I really think the way
No, it is
that
very interesting.
it's so detailed, it's kind of hard to get caught in the weeds, and it's really hard to know like what you need to know for STEP, because I feel like some material's like really detailed and some's not. So that's what I'm currently struggling with. But
Yeah.
you know, it's like everything in med school. It's really hard at the very beginning, but I think over time it starts to, you know, ferment within your mind. And that just happens a little quicker than later.
Yeah. Ned, do you want to say anything? It doesn't have to be formal. It doesn't have to be formal. Okay, so I legit almost forgot that I was doing a vlog today because the day just got so long. Anyway, it's like 1:30 now. Our small group session did indeed go all the way to 12. It actually went a little over. We just had a little class meeting for the Rising 30 years. And most of that was about like broadly what to expect for certain clerkships next year, which ones are required, some of the selectives. We talked a little bit about STEP and what courses are going to be offered on campus to help us prepare, and they're going to be buying 2 practice tests for us. So it went longer than it was supposed to. It was supposed to end at 1. I'm so hungry. So the plan for today when I get back is to finish watching sketchy videos on antidepressants. We'll watch a couple of Boards and Beyond videos. After that, I certainly need to finish my Anki. I don't know. So I will check in with you when I get home after I eat because I'm starving. Okay, so it is now 2:33. I had lunch and I finished watching the antidepressants videos on Sketchy. So now it's so good that I was able to make that Anki earlier because that kind of like changed my schedule a little bit. So now I'm gonna watch these Boards and Beyond videos. I need to watch the one on demyelinating diseases and the basal ganglia, and I'm gonna annotate my first aid book while I do that. y'all. So it is 3:16 and I just finished watching Boards and Beyond. So I'm pretty much just gonna be doing Anki for like the rest of the day until I either finish or I literally just can't do any more Anki. And then we're gonna go to the gym, have dinner, and then yeah. So let's get to this Anki. So pretty much what the rest of my day looks like is just finishing as much Anki as I can and doing UWorld questions. So right now I usually do 10 to 12 questions every day because I'm not in dedicated. Like my purpose now is just to get exposure to those types of questions, but also cut down the number of questions that I'll have left during dedicated so that I can get through them in a much more palatable. Now let's just talk about how I feel about neuroscience in general so far. So this is our 4th week. We're coming to the end of the 4th week. It is an 11-week module, which like I said earlier, it's neuroscience and behavior. So it's kind of a double module if you ask me. Hold on. I just feel like I need to put something on my lips. How do I feel about it? So I have extremely mixed feelings. I think it's not what I thought it would be coming into it, but at the same time it is. So it started off pretty straightforward where I was like, okay, this makes sense. But now we're getting into some of the nitty gritty. Like I'll give you an example. Like a lot of times there's material that isn't necessarily conceptual. It's just you have to memorize this thing. You have to memorize the name of this one nucleus. You have to memorize the name of this spot in the brain that produces this neurotransmitter. And so a lot of it is just straight rote memorization as opposed to memorizing concepts. So that's what's making it a little more tricky, is because sometimes the names of these nuclei are just so out the blue and it's hard to make mnemonics for them and it's hard to draw connections between them. So that's what I've been struggling with. I feel like because our module director is trying to make sure he doesn't overload us with too much detail that's not relevant to STEP, sometimes I feel like we're not quite getting enough detail, because like I use first aid and Boards and Beyond in conjunction with my lecture material just to help me be prepared for the NBME finals, and plus STEP is coming up. And so I'm just finding that, you know, I'll look at a lecture and it seems pretty basic, straightforward, and then I'll look at the Boards and Beyond video and it's a lot more detailed than what was in the lecture. And so that's kind of what's putting me behind, is I'm expecting like, okay, so the videos on Boards and Beyond won't be that intense, but then I completely underestimate it, which that's on me, because my actual method of studying is to look at Boards and Beyond first and then look at the lecture. So if I were doing that, I would know. But this module has just been, to be so chill, it's been so taxing in the sense that like I just felt like I've been going. Those are my thoughts on neuro so far. We'll see how psych goes. I'm assuming that's going to be the second half of the module. I'm excited to be done with this year. I'm not going to lie. We have one module left, hematology and oncology, and it's only 5 weeks. So I can't wait for that. Anyway, this has been a day in my life. That brings me to the end of this video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. I'm not worried that I need to help you. Let's speak.